Right over this way. Our servers will take care of you. Whatever you need. Mikasa, Sukasa. Now you're a visitor. All right, peace out. Now I leave for my house.
I like her, Kyle says, as
I do
Andrea
too.
leaves.
Sensible one of the group, I guess.
The dwarf is fine as well.
Yeah, he was cool.
Not exactly sure what I make of the one with all the furs.
Yeah. Not too fond of her idea of pranks and helping.
I can definitely sympathize with the knight, I suppose. I just think that he has a I just think that he could stand to control his temper a little bit better. He's a little too impulsive. Not as cool and calculated as I think he should be. Would be a lot more effective that way, I think.
Can see that. And meanwhile, our little group is a bunch of starting fights. Yay.
Don't let me get started with your group, with our group.
I know.
I was just protecting Bullet, all right?
I know Molly. I know.
She's still quite upset by everything, by the way.
How is he, by the way? Does he need healing?
He seems all right. If you could check him out, just make sure there's nothing else wrong with him.
Sure.
He's currently all sorts of cuddled up against Molly.
Oh yeah, she's all sorts of cuddled up against him.
Medicine education rule. Yeah, 17.
Yeah, you can mend more of Bullet's wounds. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As much as I agree that I think that their reaction to what happened was a bit much. She is right. We are visitors in their realm, and the fact that they're giving us a hint of hospitality is actually
very telling of them. Yes.
Indeed. When they do not have to.
Exactly.
Ian, he says as he turns to Chase.
I came here because Cobblestone showed me a path. He made me a visitor here.
And do you think that path is meant to have you play nice with the denizens of this realm, or make enemies?
When I didn't cut myself.
You are very strange, Ian. Very strange one indeed.
I bleed so others don't have to.
Why does someone have to bleed at all?
It's called sacrifice.
How does cutting yourself fix anything, Chase?
Blood is life. That's why.
Oh, okay. So you're just going to cut yourself in front of... You're just going to send me a telepathic message to this bit. So you're just going to cut yourself in front from my brother. Yeah, look, show him an excellent example of what humans should do. That's sarcasm, by the way. A little hard to tell him thoughts. By the way, I can't read your thoughts at the moment. I'm just letting you read mine. So grow up, Chase. You need to get in. You need to bloody control yourself around people. Otherwise, you will get us killed.
Chase looks at Fabian.
And that's all.
Fabian's looking at you like not really sure. He looks very confused, but you guys will go off, I'm assuming, to get something to eat because you probably are hungry after all of that excitement. Meanwhile, Cedric, you are in the Temple of Andraste. Currently, you're the only one there. I think services are done for the morning at least. And Theobin can find him there if you'd like to start your conversation.
Sure. Cedric is just kneeling in front of the statue. And he's just saying out loud just like random things from the Chant of Light. All sins are forgiven, all crimes are pardoned. Let no soul harbor guilt, let no soul hunger for justice. By the Maker's will I decree harmony in all things. let balance be restored, and all the world given eternal life. And like, so that's just one of the things that he would be saying during the when Theobin would enter.
Okay.
Getting your chant on. Does it help?
Me, at least. You can still see, like, he's kind of like holding on to one of the pews, and he's like white knuckling the pew, so he's like gripping on it tight. It's just like, it's kind of like him trying to calm down.
Hey, he kind of like walks a little bit closer, like not invading personal space, but like just more into the room. Kenna was out of line. She shouldn't have pushed you. When strangers come into our midst, we're supposed to be protecting each other. It was odd for her to side so quickly with them.
If that is her choice, it is her choice. I agree that she shouldn't have done what she did. Maybe I did react quickly, but when strange things are happening, the moment you stop to think is the moment it's the moment you start to bleed from all over the place as a mage just destroys you and your friends. Sometimes you can't think, you have to just act.
Yeah. No, I get it. You know, you get kind of a reputation for being Mr. Charge and just fight. But I don't think I say enough that I appreciate that. You're the first person I called when stuff started happening because I rely on you to protect us. And when that happens, usually people are quick to turn the finger and say, Cedric's being unreasonable, Cedric's being moody. I think you were right. And I don't know how much that means to you, but I wanted somebody to be on your side.
I thank you for that. Ugh. Why do we keep running into these strange people?
I don't know. And why do they appear in such strange ways?
I have no idea.
We must be just beacons that welcome all sorts of strange visitors.
Must be.
What do you want to do about it?
Well, I think the best choice of action is to help them get home. Whether I like them or not, while they are in this world, they are my charge to protect them from the evils of this world. At least the magical ones. And since they came here through magical means, I feel as though slightly responsible to help them get back.
Right. Not quite sure they're worthy yet of being called your charges, but
Sometimes you don't get to pick.
yeah, that's true. But just know that if any of them try to cast magic on you again, and you draw your sword, you'll have my bow.
He'll stand up from the kneeling position and turn around and walk closer, like side by side, and place his hand on Theobin's shoulder. Thank you for having my back. I respect it. But I don't like leaving them alone now.
Right.
We should get back.
Sure thing. Let's go. And he'll like his hand will like reach up. He can't reach that Cedric's shoulder, so it ends up being kind of a pat halfway on his back. But but yeah, he's gonna like return the pat of affection.
Meanwhile, everybody is gathered for food at the food court. The food court is filled with different vendors, and they're selling things like chicken pot pies or skewered meat on a stick and things of that nature. There's like bread bowl. There's like a bread bowl station. It actually smells pretty good. And if you guys are going to try to purchase something, let me know.
This is where we get our food. Since you're all guests of, us, you can have a little bit of everything. Sure, take what you want. We also have drinks, if you like them. They're pretty good. I recommend the Void. It's the best.
By drinks, do you mean alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Some are and some are not, I believe. Right, guys? I know we have non-alcoholic too.
Mine,
You can
mine
probably make
mine is
non-alcoholic versions. Yours
Yeah.
is what?
Mine can be both. It's just like Irish coffee, but you can just have it without the Irish.
Just coffee.
Irish.
That's just called the ever
Too
vigilant.
bad Dr. Pearl's not here.
Yeah.
You might have to
There's-
bring some back.
Oh, I'm bringing some back if it's at all possible.
I think there's the Ever Vigilant, the rock slides, which is
Mhm.
but I don't. It's like chocolate, or I don't remember.
The chocolate
You guys want
queen.
to describe? Yeah.
The chocolate queen, yes. And then there's the flaming one. I forgot which one's the flaming one, but that one's Violetta's.
That one's probably alcoholic since they light it on
That
fire.
one's definitely alcoholic. Yes.
Super alcoholic.
It's Violetta, so yeah.
Yeah. And then there's mine, the Void. But
There's
I don't
also
tell them that. I
the
just tell
ice
them what we
one.
drink.
The icy one.
Oh yeah, it's the what is it? It's the
I don't remember.
breezy breach or something.
The breezy breach, yes.
Yeah, something like that. It's really good.
So if they go to the stands, one of them, they're probably gonna ask for gold or copper or silver, and is kind of gonna explain to them.
Yeah, I will tell the vendors that they are guests of ours and they are allowed to have a meal each, and but the drinks aren't free.
All right.
Everything else, if they want extras, you guys have coin? Do you have gold?
I have a credit card.
A credit card.
Digs in purse, pulls out a rectangle of plastic. This?
A piece of plastic.
I said, no.
Okay, you guess you don't take it then.
We could work
Puts
on
in
a
a
bar.
wallet, puts it away.
Do you have things you can barter? Little things. We'll take.
Yeah, Molly will reach in. She'll reach into her bag and she pulls out a candy bar.
Candy bar. You have never seen a candy bar before. It looks interesting though.
Oh, what is it?
Uh,
Shiny
it's-
wrapping.
It's made of chocolate. It's got some pokeberries in there. It tastes pretty good. I need some alcohol in me right now, so I'll trade one of these.
Andrea will like that one for sure. I'll say that for Andrea because she loves chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And the bartender order him the flame, the fire one.
Sure. The bartender will mix a concoction, and it's got this really interesting silvery color to it, kind of, sort of. And then he takes a match-looking thing, lights it, and then he lights the top of the stein, and then it erupts into a burst of violet flame.
Ooh.
And he hands it over to you.
Molly takes it and she says, so this looks dangerous. How do I drink this? Exactly.
Cover it, drink it, enjoy it.
Molly shrugs, knocks it back.
You knock it back. So the flames, surprisingly, are not hot. It tickles your nose a little bit. It feels like, sort of like if a feather duster was going against your face, but it doesn't do it in a way that makes you sneeze or anything. It just has a very interesting sensation as you take a drink, and it goes down your throat in a very warm. It's very warm, and it's very potent. This is a very powerful beverage.
Oh, lovely.
So, roll a. What's the roll to see how well you can hold your alcohol there, Molly? I'm trying to think.
Oh,
What would be
dear.
appropriate?
I
Would
haven't
that
had to
be
do
a?
that yet.
Probably
Would that be a
athletics.
stamina?
Is athletics?
Yeah.
Pokemon?
Survival?
Survival? Yeah, roll a survival.
Survival.
Roll a
That
survival.
seems a little intense.
You
Can
roll a
you
survival.
survive?
Death.
17?
17.
All right. Yeah, it's you can tell it's strong, but it's good.
Mhm. Does she feel tipsy at all?
Not yet. But
Okay.
you know that a few more of that, yeah, will definitely knock you out. But wow, that's pretty amazing drink. And it actually is a bit of it's Violetta's drink. It's mildly aphrodisiac-y. Mildly
dear.
aphrodisiac.
Oh, that was helpful with Kiki earlier.
Just as Andrea comes back. What
Yes,
happens in Thetis?
Or everyone that's clothes are still wet plastered to them.
Yeah, Molly starts noticeably blushing, and she's like, no, I'm married. I can't be thinking
That's right,
that
you're
kind
married.
of stuff. So she slides the mug back, and she says to Kenneth, in honor of my wife back at our home, I think I'd like this. What's the name of the Irish coffee type drink?
The ever vigilant.
The ever vigilant.
The ever vigilant.
You have something to barter? Barter for the drink?
She hands over another.
Put it on
peanut
my
butter.
tab. Put it on my tab.
Oh, Sir Cedric. The bartender immediately bows. Of course, sir, of course. And he'll pour the ever vigilant, which is Cedric's drink.
As reparations for my actions earlier. It's on the house.
We're not gonna do too many of those, right, Cedric?
No.
Yeah, we're still gonna make profit.
Spoken like a true businessman.
Yeah, Molly seems pretty thankful for that, and she'll take the Irish coffee type drink and she'll try it out. How does it compare to Noir's?
Noir's is good, don't get me wrong. This though, it's got a. How would you describe it if you're trying to describe it to somebody, Kevin?
She has it with the alcohol in it, right?
Yes.
Right. So the alcohol is very, very present. It's not nowhere near as strong as
Violetta's, right?
Violetta's, but it's still like you still taste it. It's hard liquor, but the more overpowering part is the caffeine that is in the coffee. So while it has a somewhat respectable alcohol percentage, it's more like waking you up, like you feel a whole lot more energized.
It's got a nutty, unwarm nuttiness to it, like coffee would. And it's very, I would say, compared to the coffee that you have back home, it's smoother. It's very smooth.
All right.
Lieutenant Jenny will turn to Tiffany and say, "Tiffany, can I get you a drink?"
It just needs to be an alcoholic. Sorry, Cedric, what do you recommend?
Non-alcoholic.
The papaya juice. I just made it today. She's like,
Papaya juice. I've never heard of papayas.
it's a
Neither.
tropical fruit. That's what I'll be drinking. So,
Well, clearly you're the most tasteful person here, so obviously.
I'll order 2 of those then. Bartering.
could I barter with him? Because
Sure.
I'm gonna make the juice. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. What you got?
I'm afraid I didn't bring much. Everything just happened so fast. And he he takes out things out of his.
Pulls out lip gloss.
What's this?
Lip gloss. It's makeup.
Show me.
Okay, well, this really isn't your color. Big store bag. Yeah, this one should be good. Pulls out the tube.
I'm gonna say, Andrea, that while Tiffany is going through her bag, you can see a wide array of makeup and eyeshadow and lipstick and this woman has like a treasure trove of makeup that you've never seen before in her bag.
Oh, we're gonna do a lot more ordering. It's just like.
Oh, okay. Yes, we can do this.
You like perfume?
I love perfume. What scent?
And she's like, this was made in Tavinta. And she's like, I hand it to you.
Takes it, open smells.
How does it smell like? Describe it.
It's like a sweet, musky scented perfume. It's not very flowery. It's kind of like a spicy, exotic scent.
Okay. Oh, this is wonderful.
Not too strong. I'm not Elysian. Not all fruity and flowery. We need the. She's like, we need the spice.
A little bit confused at Orlesian. Like, what is that? They keep mentioning it. Must be a place.
Cedric works there, but not a very big fan. She's like.
Is Orlais, is that where Bostwick's from? He mentioned that he was a noble person, very wealthy.
No, he's from Tavinta.
Isn't that the bad place?
Yeah. But there are good people there. Like Bostwick.
You and Bostwick seem very close, I noticed.
Like a father, yeah.
Oh.
Naked.
Well, then you must be very happy to have him home.
I'm curious to find out how he ended up in our world.
Yeah.
Magic, I assume.
That.
Yep.
Tiffany is actually starting to take more makeup out of her bag, like holding up vials. Discard this. Yes.
I'll give you 5 of you too.
No, I don't think lip gloss exists in Thetis at all. So if you were to look at it, it looks like lipstick, but it's got a really interesting jelly. Like it looks really cool.
Slippery.
It'll also
Do you
help
have a mirror?
moisturize them. Oh, of course I have a mirror. Oh, my question is that. Takes out a small foldable compact.
It makes your lips look extra, like it has this really glossy shimmer to it, which is unlike any other lipstick you've ever used before. It's.
How much gold do you?
This one actually comes in a specific flavor. What flavor would this be? Earth equivalent. What would the flavor be?
Well, I know cherry berry is a thing in Pokemon,
Cherry.
so I'll go with that one.
Cherry berry.
Cherry
So
berry.
it's like, yeah, it's got a nice, interesting cherry berry flavor to you, which is
Like.
I would think that would be which is tastes a lot better than normal lipstick. Let me tell you.
She goes, how much gold do you want for this?
Well,
Tiffany knows what gold is, though, because jewelry maker.
She does.
And then feels really bad because this isn't a really expensive lip gloss. I think it's actually not really worth gold, but just cop us our drinks.
How about food and stay for all of the gloss of lips?
Actually, I will give you that one because I do feel like I'm cheating you a little. And okay, this one, it's more traditional lipstick.
Okay, I'll take all of the things.
Oh, we should do makeovers later. I would love to get to do something with your hair. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
Kyle
she waited a
sighs.
second, like, better compliment it, because if you're like, I'd love to do something with your hair, she'd be like,
Oh, I'm a professionally trained hairstylist, so.
cool.
Actually, what state are Andrea's nails in?
Always good.
Okay. Oh, I have a shade of nail polish that would look great on that. Digs through a bag. Okay, let's do food first, and then I will give you a manicure, and we can bond.
Okay. And she'll just like kind of look at the people, the servants and stuff, and be like, whatever they want on me. It's fine.
Employees.
Of course, Miss Andrea. Of course, anything that you wish. And Kyle will just sigh and turns to Tiffany and says, "I suppose my chivalry card has to be turned in. I was supposed to buy you a drink."
You try. Besides, it's nice to be able to treat you as well.
I'm afraid I left all my lip gloss at home.
See, that's a rookie mistake. That's when you start carrying a purse.
Well,
Oh, right. Men's pants actually have pockets.
good, because the only thing I really had to offer was this, and he holds up a pair of handcuffs.
No, sweetie, you hold on to those. No telling how long we'll be here.
Can I borrow those at some point?
These? He hands you the handcuffs. Do you want the keys? Do you want the keys to those as well?
I guess I should, yeah.
He takes out his keychain, he unhooks one, and he tosses you one of the keys. Consider that payment for the food.
Thank you. Sorry, carry on. He like just puts that okay.
Can I pull the blue-haired guy aside?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, I know
Yeah.
his name, but Cedric doesn't know his name. He
Yeah.
wasn't really paying attention.
You're Cedric, right?
Yes.
My apologies for my group's behavior back there.
No worries. Members of my group and me are equally to blame. I couldn't help but overhear talking about being chivalrous. There happens to be a gift store across the way, and he'll point over to where Payne's Practical Products is. I mean, it isn't much. In my line of work, we don't get paid too much, but I know what it's like to have someone you care about and you want to buy them nice things. And he'll hand him a gold piece and say, that shop over there might have something that she might find interesting. Or whoever you are into.
No friends and family discount.
Kyle looks at the gold piece in his hand, and he looks at your direction and says, "That's very generous of you. I have to admit, maybe I misread you originally."
Well, you know, it wasn't too long ago where we were the invaders/guests, so I can kind of relate to it in that sense as well.
And I understand how very difficult it can be working with the rest of the people in your group sometimes. I find myself turning a blind eye to things that I don't necessarily agree with quite often for the betterment of the group. I don't know if you ever feel that way.
I think we would have gotten along very well if we were in the same world.
Really?
Yes.
Well, their hearts are in the right place. Their methods, in my opinion, could be done in slightly different ways, but sometimes I have to clean up their mess. Sometimes they clean up with mine. I suppose it goes both ways.
That's how it mostly goes here as well. But please, explore the shop after you eat and drink. That gold should get you something nice.
Thank you, Sir Cedric.
Yes, just Cedric. It's fine. And you are... I'm sorry.
Lieutenant Jenny. Kyle
Lieutenant-
Jenny. He'll hold out his hand.
Cedric will do, like, the warrior handshake, not just like a normal handshake.
Oh, okay. I can't say I've ever seen that before.
Oh, are you not? My apologies.
No. I actually thought it was pretty cool. You'll have to teach me how to do that.
It's when you meet someone who does similar things that we do, that's how you show respect. It's kind of like the warrior handshake around here.
I see. I like it. Maybe that's something that we'd have to adapt back home too.
Of course. Come, the food should be ready soon.
He'll smile and only put the cold piece away in his pocket.
Cassie's at a table, just kind of
Okay.
chilling, watching, listening.
Tiffany will drift over, set a drink down in front of her. Papaya. Try it. I think it's really good.
I don't know. I mean, do you already trust all this stuff?
Why not? Not the weirdest thing we've done.
Well, no, it's not the weirdest thing, but these guys. Well, I think they have
If
the
they
best
wanted us
intention.
dead, we'd be dead already.
All right, fine. No alcohol in this, right?
Exactly. Otherwise, I would not be drinking it.
Cassie, if you take a swig of the drink,
Sip.
if you take a sip, the sip is unlike any fruit that you have tasted. It immediately transports you to a peaceful, breezy beach, almost instantaneously. And it's an extremely pleasant flavor.
I see.
I know, right?
She'll pause a moment then and just kind of let it settle on her tongue and all that, before taking a slightly longer sip this time. It seems she approves well enough.
And that's it. It tastes even better than the first one now that you're able to savor every last tropical drop.
And she really can't place like the flavors.
No, it does. It's I guess what is the equivalent of papaya in Pokemon, in the Pokemon universe? I'm sure there is one. I think there's a Nayapa.
They have weird names.
I think there's like a Nayapa berry. It's similar to the Nayapa berry, but for some reason this tastes richer and sweeter to you. For some reason, it's like an enhanced version of that berry. Somehow, you believe that this might get turned into a really, really awesome pokeberry juice if you're able to process it back home somehow.
That was kind of the plan. Like after that sip and trying to again determine the flavor, she'll just kind of like shift her shoulder strap down, her backpack, and cull out a little bottle.
Oh, you have collection jars?
Yeah. You never know.
Right, scientist.
She'll just nod as she pours it in.
No, actually, I was
Screws
starting
the
to
lid
ask
on
out
the
of
plate.
character and realized, roll with it.
Oh, okay. We could take that back. That's fine. But yes, I do, in her character sheet, have collection jars.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys got any seeds? Or maybe like a
But
sapling?
yeah, she'll
Oh.
honestly and said, yeah, that was actually pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Didn't care a lot about elf fruit if someone explained it to her. So what do you make of everything?
I don't yet. This is not something that we would normally encounter, even for our group.
True. Very true.
I mean, I know that everyone has been trying to make connections with what they called a bear to, Earthring and all that, and flying types with their gods. But it's just that weird thing where maybe there aren't as many connections. They could have entirely different rules over here.
Well, we have locals we can ask. Theo, come sit with us.
Oh, God.
You'll find that kind of Theo was already kind of looking in your direction anyway. When you catch his eye, and he'll walk over and take a seat, and kind of as he's plumping down on the seat, he'll say, "I know that curiosity," and he'll eye the collection vial with the papaya in it.
Oh, Lordy, you're about to make a friend. Moves out of the way so they can talk, goes to the other side of the table. I was going to ask about laws and stuff, but have fun.
What did Cassie say? Sorry.
She just said, "Oh, you know about that curiosity, do you?"
Yeah. I collect samples too. Pretty much everything I find.
What trade are you in?
I make potions, herbalism mixtures, healing, and really any extract that can create an effect. I've used some to hurt our enemies or incapacitate them, but also some that have strengthened my allies. Any concoction I can find, really.
That's interesting. What would you say are some of your more profound findings?
Well, there was one time, probably the most fun I've had with my group. Kenna and I we found some herbs, and we just started experimenting and throwing stuff together and seeing what it created. And a lot of our findings from that day ended up being useful when we fought, well, I suppose, our version of a god battle. We found things that could strengthen your muscles, make you more limber and flexible.
Tell me more.
Increased spell power.
Leaning across table, batting eyelashes. Actually, no, I have a power called Enchanting Gaze. Accidentally it activates.
Yes, let's use more magic on them.
Yeah,
That's
please
a good
do.
idea.
I can't wait to call Cedric.
Well,
It continues.
It's a flirt.
Once again, everyone wants to pile on Theobin. Everyone likes to go after Theobin.
I have a history of hooking up with crossover people.
Yeah, such a player.
I assure you, it's strictly for your mind, though.
Okay.
Out of character. In character. She has seen across the table. She's batting eyelashes.
Okay.
And you're infatuated with me for one full round, but we're out of combat, so...
So 10 whole seconds.
Is that an effect that Theobin is under at present?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, you definitely notice Tiffany to be a very attractive female. Yes. Noticeably attractive. Yes.
Whose wet shirt is still probably clinging to her.
Okay. So I guess he's kind of looking over at her a little bit more. Yeah, so he's just going to take Cassie through some of his more elaborate concoctions. A lot of them are to do with strengthening the body and strengthening the mind and increasing your powers and abilities. So he's going to take her through the scientific process of creating a concoction, because it sounds
okay. Yes, she would be.
So would Tiffany, because healing. Tell me more. Hence the slipping into flirt mode and really, tell me everything, senpai.
Yeah,
Well,
do you want any checks to demonstrate understanding and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll a
Medicine?
medicine. Roll a medicine
For me, for Cassie, probably other education. I got 25.
I mean, I would rather, for me, either a general or a technology.
Yeah.
Technology's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're all into your big sexy brain.
Exactly.
Roll that
You know,
one. Hold on.
I can't help it. All right.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
All
I
right.
got a 34.
Tiffany,
got
I'm gonna
25.
say
Whoa.
that you can utilize the knowledge that Theobin bestows on you to improve the effects of your first aid healing abilities if you are able to use herbs, like specific healing herbs that you can find naturally in back home. As long as you are able to acquire said herbs, then I will say that any healing that you do increases its effectiveness by an additional 20%. So take whatever you
Nice.
normally heal and multiply it by 20% rounded down. 20% rounded down.
You're welcome.
You're awesome.
Cassie.
Thank you. Cassie just became a god, so
Yeah, look at all those sixes, Cassie. Wow.
Cassie's pretty
we
cool.
do not.
I mean,
You know, I think with all those sixes, like a 34, Theo's leaning over to her. Like, really?
Exactly. Team nerd. Let's go.
Cassie,
Team smart person.
you're picking up less on the medicinal aspects of herbalism and more of the technology and the science behind herbalism.
and I'm sure she can understand a lot of like the chemical reactions and
Yeah.
the way things mix properly.
To the point that I believe that you can essentially make minor, by taking specific herbs and mixing them together and putting them into a pouch. These pouches can be thrown as grenade-like weapons to have minor poisonous effects. And by poisonous effects, I mean making characters drowsier, not necessarily put them to sleep, but like making them more sluggish.
Can I teach her about Deathroot? Because Theo would absolutely do that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So Deathroot is a plant that is grown only in Thetis that has properties specific to damaging or harming creatures that consume it, and thus it can be used in a lot of poisonous
Well,
concoctions.
it creates hallucinations essentially. So
Yeah.
when you use it against enemies, like there's a table in the Dragon Age core rulebook how Hart wants to adapt it, but depending on what you roll, they could like start seeing their allies as their enemies, or they could just start babbling incoherently, or they could start getting really angry at a nearby barrel or a tree or something.
This sounds
okay.
so
Or they
useful.
could be afraid of their own shadow. Like it's Theo's favorite herb. So if you were like, if you were talking along those lines, he would.
You believe that you would be able to you would be able to concoct this on your own if you had your own stash of Deathroot. If you did have your own stash of Deathroot, you have the knowledge of cultivating it yourself. If you did.
I think I'm feeling nice. So I think if both expressed interest in those subjects,
I'm going somewhere with this.
I think Theo would allow Tiffany to have some elf fruit and for Cassie to have some death root to take back with her.
Nice.
Aw. Well, if we're giving gifts then, digs through bag. Unfortunately, my Pokemon's not with me. Pulls out phone, sets it down. This is a Grimer. His name's Ew. Isn't he adorable?
He looks a little bit like dirt. I like dirt.
He's a bit more slimish, but he's adorable. I'm really starting to get to meet him. Anyway, you notice his teeth? They're like crystals?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fun thing about Grimers is they will pretty much eat more junky things, but even their bodies can't digest everything. Takes out a small box, sets it down, takes out rubber gloves, puts them on. And every so once in a while, you will shed his teeth because they're as big as they can get. It's all just toxins, really. And you, Donamise, you like toxins. Opens the box, takes out one of the teeth. Grimer tooth. They're incredibly toxic.
Theo will get out his own symmetrical pair of gloves.
Very carefully sets it in his palm
Oh,
once the
boy.
gloves are on. Hey,
So
you
not
wouldn't
only
let
do
me
you-
bring you over.
Not only do you keep those teeth, but you carry them around with you?
Yeah, he's my baby. Why wouldn't I?
Kind of like a baby's first tooth kind of scrapbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Only he sheds them about once a month.
Riz, when you
But-
become a dad, wouldn't you keep around your children's baby teeth in your bag?
Not if they're solidified toxins.
Well, if that's the case, you might want to have a word with the mother.
Mhm.
Yes, probably.
True. Well,
Um,
in this case, Cassie would be the mom. So, who did you hook up with? Sorry, in character. Let's go.
Hi, Cassie. He's gonna smooth it out for like texture, and he's going to investigate this little piece of tooth that he's got in the palm of his hand. Can he like assess anything from it, or is
Oh,
it
yeah.
completely?
So the substance is unlike anything that you've recognized, but it certainly is extremely toxic, just like she said. So holding on by the gloves is actually a good idea. The toxicity in this tooth, you believe, can be used to enhance the potency of poisons.
What's its usual effect, Tiffany? Like, what does the poison?
I don't know because I'm not really a poisons person. I'm more just I don't want them lying around my apartment and people accidentally stepping on them or me accidentally stepping on them and bad things
Yeah.
happen. In the beginning, I didn't know they were really toxic. I just thought, oh, pretty, I'll keep it. A day later, I was just passed out at work.
Yeah. What's that like?
You believe that if you took this tooth and you put it into a bottle of poison, for example, and let it steep in the poison, then the poison would absorb some of the tooth little by little and make the poison do extra damage in combat.
Okay.
Obviously, while you do this, it wears away more and more of the tooth. So the more you do it, the more potent the poison will be, but then you'll have less of the tooth left.
Gotcha.
Cassie was just going to say that the poison itself doesn't have like paralytic qualities. It's strictly for killing, frankly.
Ah. He says like that's totally a normal occurrence.
Hashtag not judging.
He's not going to judge now. Interesting. I could do something with it. I can keep it. He kind of asks.
You would like 3 or 4 more? Go ahead. Shoves the box toward him.
Ugh, this is
Being
great.
More than kind person. Elf in whatever root.
Yes, absolutely. I have some samples in my lab. I'll bring them out for you later. And he's like gonna get out some symmetrical collection vials, just like the ones Cassie was using, and start popping them in very carefully, and kind of with the excitement of a small child.
Yeah.
Can you actually tell me a little bit more, Cassie says, about the magic enhancements, the abilities?
What is it that you want to know?
How exactly they work, I suppose.
Yeah.
When you say it enhances magic or abilities, what do you mean?
This might be a long one. In our world, are you at all familiar with the concept of magic? I need to know what I'm working with.
Yeah, faintly.
Not really. Not in the sense you do.
Only with my master occult education.
Not Tiffany, though. She's kind of dumb. Well, 2d6.
Okay. Well, there are powers in this world that allow you to manipulate the forces around it, and each of my companions can manipulate different forces. Mine is Earth. Cedric is lightning, and Kenna is ether, which is kind of like the staple of the earth, moved together, light and dark. Violetta, who isn't here with us at the moment, is fire, and Andrea is water, and we can manipulate these elements and make them move with us. And those specific powers come from, he like lifts up his bracelet that he wears on his arm. You'll find we all have one of these, and that's how we do it. But present in this world already, absent of the braces, are other powers that we can use that we call magic, that is born in some individuals. Andrea is one of them, that are called mages. People like Cedric are sworn to protect mages and assert that their magic doesn't get out of hand and start hurting people. And that can do, I'm not an expert, but all sorts of things. You know, it's become as commonplace as perhaps your practiced medicine in your world for mages to heal. It's a way of life for us, but most mages are contained in buildings called circles, because it is our law that they study and control their magic, and circles help them do that. But essentially, if I were to take you through everything that magic can do, we'd be here for days. It's been adapted to do all kinds of things, good and sadly ill, as anything can be warped to be bad.
Is it something anyone is capable of?
No. Whilst enchantments exist, so anything in our world can be tinted with elements of magic. For example, a bow could have fire arrows that do that sort of damage, but innate magical ability is only born in certain select individuals. It makes them special. It gives them great benefit, but also great responsibility. I'm a dwarf, and in our world, we can't possess magic, usually. Usually. That's, we don't talk about that. So I am not one of them. As I say, Cedric does not possess magical abilities, but as a Templar, he does have certain abilities that help negate magic when it gets out of control. Andrea is a mage. Kenna does weird magic stuff, but isn't a mage. I'm not sure what her story is. She talks to animals, she makes berries, but I don't think she has magic. I don't know.
Ability comes from the item then? I mean, I can make some pretty cool accessories when I try.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I think you'll have to ask her. It's maybe an Avar thing. She comes from a set of people that were raised in the Frostback Mountains, which is actually where we are. We're actually on the, I think the breach is located in the Frostback, so we're near there. And her people were the initial tribesmen that made up Freldon, which is the main nation that we live in. They're a very old culture. And it's interesting. You might want to try talking to her about it. They're the group that worship the sky. So.
You mentioned the bracers then. That's what provides your abilities, essentially?
Gives us all power over our individual elements, yeah.
And she'll nod and kind of like raise her hand kind of between herself and the table and ask, kind of like this? And it's just a black glove, but if Theo were to look at it, it would start to glow like, embers in a fire.
Fascinating. You can do that at will?
Yeah.
Theoben, you can tell though that what it's doing is more mechanical in nature as opposed to magical in nature.
Interesting. So this is an item that produces this?
Yeah, I made it.
I see. So in a sense then, magic is like that. There are lots of components and triggers that when put together and used in the right way, create an effect in the same way.
Interesting. All right. Well, you've definitely given me things to think about.
If you want to, you know, I have a lab if you want to compare notes sometime. And I'm not hitting on you, I swear.
Cassie, made a friend.
Barking in your sleep.
Yeah. Well, you know, you seem very smart, and I would like to learn more about your stuff. And I have notes, and you know, but it's
If we have time, that would be good. We just need to make sure that we're still making progress on getting back home.
Yeah.
right. Yes.
After getting Faven something to eat, because they said the meals are free, and Tamara doesn't really have anything to barter on her, because
He seems to be eyeing the pies. Part of you thinks it's because he thinks those pies are sweet as opposed to savory.
they're savory, Fabian.
I want a pie.
Sure. Okay. They said, Kenna said they could have one free meal, so should get that, Fabian.
All right.
He
He will take the pie and he will start to eat. He seems to like it, actually. He seems to really like it, and he'll keep eating. It's comfort food, so of course he likes it.
So once he's kind of settled, like she looks around, so Noir might approach Kenna and go, "Hi.
Hi.
Sorry about all that craziness. Really
No,
didn't mean to
my fault.
drop in.
My fault.
You all.
Sometimes I forget people can't hear the animals when I'm talking to them. My bad.
Yeah, just don't let it happen again. I really.
Oh no, won't happen.
Yeah, fine.
Promise. I'm making packages for you guys.
You
The
are?
cookies. The cookies, your animals seem to like them, so I'm making a little batch. We're assembling them. I've got like spoiled cookies in front of me. Each, I'm guessing, have an animal, so I'm making, 3 cookies for each of you.
Yeah. That's very sweet.
You're welcome.
Is there really no stories of anyone killing gods or anything like that? Do you know anything about fighting gods? Because,
fighting a god.
That
might be.
Because I heard some things that said you fought an almost god. But what does that mean?
It's a complicated story. A man who thought he was a god, but he was not. I don't know if I have any ideas on how you can fight a god other than I don't know, we fight for gods, but not against them. Never had to do that before.
Well, in my world, not all the gods get along. They're all on the same side. And yeah, I'm from a different world from the rest of them. I've kind of been there, done this, dropped in a new place. It's start from nothing.
Sounds rough. Hard going into new places all the time too.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That yeah. So do you think you'd be able to make sure that the rest of my group will be able to get home?
You'd probably have to talk to Andrea for that. I mean, I don't know much about magic. I don't know how you got here, so you'd probably talk to her. And she could give you some ideas.
Yeah.
She's very powerful.
Thank you. That's good. So they'll be in good hands.
She's the best.
Yeah.
You should talk to her. She might have an idea.
Yeah. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
Just like expression wise, you can probably notice while looking at them, like a sad look at the face at all the group. I don't know if you pick up on what that look means, but it's definitely like something is a little off.
I'm actually going to start with cobblestone, and then I would like to continue with Andrea. So I'm glad that she's around.
Well, that's convenient because I think that Boswick is still talking to Andrea. So you can they're having some sort of conversation, just catching up, but you can certainly approach.
He just sits between them and starts talking.
Yes. Them. Chase, Andrea, I don't know if you formally met Chase. He actually was one of the only friends that I managed to make while I was over on the other side, and I actually have known him a lot longer than the rest of the newcomers here.
Really?
I knew him as well. I didn't know his name, and I guess that's why I'm approaching you right now. See, I knew him as Cobblestone because I gave him the name Cobblestone. He used to hang out at the art district, and the roads were made out of cobblestone.
Oh.
I suppose I owe you a bit of an apology, my friend. I know that our entire relationship has been a bit of a ruse, and I suppose it doesn't really make up for it, but I am very sorry for the deception, but I hope you understand why I was being deceptive.
And I don't accept your apology because there's no apology necessary. I'm actually here to thank you because I don't always see the signs when they're in front of me. But when I gave you that name, you were always the path for me. You were always meant to bring me here. And he looks around to the cave, to the stone. Did you always know you would lead us here? Did you always know you'd lead me here?
No, I actually wasn't even sure that I would return back here, to be quite honest. The circumstances of me arriving here in the first place were very odd to begin with. So, no, I'm afraid I was completely naive to that fact.
Do you believe in destiny? That you're a part of this? You're just a part of the puzzle?
Destiny. That's a very difficult question. I don't know. I'm not the type of person who would believe that my path is completely fated without any choice on my part. I'd like to believe I have a little bit of freedom. At least for people like myself who are mages, freedom is definitely something that is extremely valuable. More valuable than, I can't believe I'm saying it, wealth itself. I learned that the hard way. Mostly through the eyes of Andrea, actually.
Well, I think just because we're on a path and just because we're part of some destiny doesn't mean that we've lost our freedom. I think part of reaching that destiny is having all the freedom that the gods give us. And he turns to Andrea. No, he'll continue something here. And it dawns on me that I just keep meeting people who put on acts. And